All right, listen, bitch, this is your wake up call. You've been playing small for far too long, and it's time to step into the true power and potential that's been inside of you all along. I am Brandon Lynette, your Christian mindset coach, best-selling author, and your new personal cheerleader. And this is the Listen Bitch podcast. We're in season 7. This is all about unapologetically owning your worth, embracing the bold vision that God has for your life, and shattering every limit that has been holding you back. So if you're ready to get out of your own way, stop second guessing your dreams and start living the life that you were born to live, you're in the right place. Every episode, we dive into faith and mindset and hard truths that are going to help you unlock your next level. No sugarcoating, no bullshit, no excuses, just real talk about stepping into your destiny as a human of purpose and power. It is time to stop playing nice, baby. Get ready to rise up, show up, and make this your year. Let's go. This is Listen Bitch, where faith meets fierce and you finally start stepping into your true potential. Hello, hello, darlings. We're gonna nerd out today. It is Monday. I hope you had an incredible weekend. Um, I do listen, I know last week I got stood up, right? And so I'm like, no more guests. But I have an episode tomorrow, and I'm bringing on some badasses that I just met last month that are going to talk about something that I think is going to change a lot of people's lives. Already, it has made an impact on mine through my husband. But so I figured today, if you guys haven't tuned in to, if you're new here, I kind of nerd out when it comes to the brain. Like I'm obsessed with it. And I went down this incredible rabbit hole of neuroplasticity and how we can repair our brain and how everything in our life, our response, our personality, all of these things, like our brain is the central hub for all this crazy stuff. Like your brain is a super complex computer and it has different parts that do different jobs, but it's all working together to run smoothly. So we're just going to nerd out. I love you guys. Be patient with me. I think it's just the foundation for something that I really want to share with you guys. Um, so we have neurons. Like this is the brain's version of little tiny electrical wires, and they're sending signals to each other. So this is how you think, this is how you move, this is how you feel. It is literally pretty much how you do every single thing that you do. And you have a few main areas. You've got a frontal lobe. So this is your decision making. This is your problem solving. This is your personality hangout. Okay. The parietal lobe is what is dealing with touch. It's going to deal with temperature, your sense of space, like knowing where your hand is without looking. And then you've got the occipital lobe, and that's the visual processing area where all of your info from your eyes is literally turned into pictures. Temporal lobe is going to be your memory. It is also sound. The cerebellum helps you balance and coordinate movement. And then you have the brainstem, which is literally controlling shit like your heart. No big deal. Your breathing. No big deal. Sleeping. No big deal. It's happening. And your brain is constantly receiving and sending information through the neurons. And this is what happens. It adapts over time. Like how you can get better at a skill, the more you practice it. I think that is the best way for me to describe neuroplasticity. So your brain is multitasking, literally controlling every single thing from breathing to the way you think to the way you feel. It keeps you alive, keeps you on your toes. So I feel like we can do a lot of things to improve neuroplasticity. They used to think that your brain could not form new connections, but it absolutely can recognize itself by forming new neural connections. New. So everything that you do when you engage in new habits, when you start a new thought pattern, this is how neuroplasticity is working. And there's a million different ways to do this. Like I never thought until last year and this year kind of coming in together, I never realized that even the Bible touches on this because it is encouraging you to renew your mind. So It's talking about meditating on the word, all of these things. And it's been scientifically studied. Like, you guys can do your research. It's super easy. I go to Google or Safari, whatever the fuck it is, and it is, brain info for dummies, ways to enhance neuroplasticity. Um, and there's a lot of different ways, but if obviously in where I'm at in my life and my relationship with Christ, absolutely it's Bible focused. And so focusing on that scripture, it's reshaping my thought patterns. And that is what is supporting neuroplasticity. So not only, is science happening and I'm, decoding all of these broken connections and the default mode network of just like going through life repetitively, all the things that I've just been kind of coasting through. Now my brain is focused on positive, transformative thoughts. So I'm able to crush all of those beliefs. Um, Absolutely, microdosing is huge in that space for me. Um, and so it's just a tiny bit of psilocybin, and it's helping with cognitive flexibility, emotional regulation. It has been like one of the biggest catalysts in my non-reactive state. People are like, how do you stay calm? Well, I microdose. And this is the thing. I've talked about it a lot on this show. That I have plenty of episodes. Like, you literally could find probably 100 shows in my podcast about microdosing. But it's been a problem for people because it is not decriminalized everywhere. It's still taboo, and people are genuinely just kind of afraid of it. Nobody wants to have a full blown hallucination experience. Like, we just don't rock like that anymore, right? So I have a lot of info on that, but this was something people were afraid of. And so I've always looked for different ways to help our bodies kind of just grow through that neuroplasticity. Um, Obviously, like, meditating, journaling, things like this are going to strengthen your connections. Any time that you're training your brain, um in whatever you're doing, I tell people brush your teeth with your opposite hand, or learn something like piano, doing these things, because once you have your brain's attention, then that's where the connection starts to happen. And I mean, there's plenty of videos that they've done the research of, like, even people just reading the Bible or in worship or all of these things, like, your brain starts connecting, it starts making new pathways. So can you teach an old dog new tricks? Absolutely. Yes, you can. You can. Even, I mean, regular exercise, adequate sleep, obviously good nutrition, all of these things will promote neuroplasticity. Um, and we are called to care for our bodies. So we want to create that fertile environment for your brain to thrive. Okay. I don't think the brain gets enough credit. And it does everything. It does everything for us. Um, so I want to talk about, we know what our brain does. We know we want to connect that neuroplasticity. We want new connections because that's how we break the old habits. That's how we break the old patterns. That's how we become new. Um, so your brain is constantly responding to stimuli, whether it's the environment, your thoughts, or even your own body. There is a continuous flow of input, and it shapes your behavior. It shapes your emotions. It shapes your overall mindset. And so once you adapt these ideas, and that's, it can be toxic, it backfires on us because you start getting lost in these experiences that you allow your brain to hardwire to be your identity, like depression, anxiety, all of these things, even being in pain, all of this stuff, it can be reprogrammed. There's someone that I absolutely admire, and I don't probably talk about him enough on here. And I think it's because I did go down a scary rabbit hole with meditation. Okay. There's a there's a limit to to what happens. I missed the meditation mark of meditating on the word, and I went kind of balls to the wall, just going to outer fucking space, and it was terrifying. But the person that kind of brought this to me and actually made me realize that we have a God gene inside of us, like, scientifically, it has been proven. He definitely helped me connect my science nerd side to the spiritual side, and that is Dr. Joe Dispenza. Look him up, hands down. He talks about this, and he talks about how, he was paralyzed. They were recommending surgery. He healed himself. And so he does this. He travels all around the world and he holds these seminars. And we've got people that are with all of these incurable things like changing their lives. And it absolutely works because everything, your brain is responding to shit. So if you think about this, your brain is constantly processing information through five senses. Okay. We've got sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. And so the stimuli comes from the external world. Okay. Like someone's talking to us, someone lit a candle in the other room. There's an event happening around us, whatever this is, in internal sources like bodily sensations or even your thoughts. We have the RAS system, okay? And that's the reticular activating system. This is the part of the brain that acts like a filter. So it determines which stimuli are important and deserve your attention. And the RAS is constantly prioritizing what we focus on. So it helps us avoid that sensory overload. I think mine is broken sometimes, and that's okay. So like when you're having a conversation at a really noisy party, it's possible to tune everything out except the person that you're talking to. Okay. And I'm just kidding. It's my husband's that's broken because he can't handle, the kids having conversations, like 10 of them, and still talking to us and have a conversation with me. I can handle that. So I guess it's his that's broken and it's fine. But what's happening is that your RAS can be influenced by what you're emotionally or mentally focused on. So if you're stressed about something, that is going to fucking highlight all the stress. And that is why when you're in a room, I struggle with misophonia. Okay. So like people chewing, breathing, all of these things. And if I come into a room and I focus, if I hyper focus on that, it's all I can fucking hear. Like literally down to someone's heartbeat and I will get irritated. Okay. So it is absolutely our choice for what we're going to focus on. And we end up training our brain to notice more things that trigger that stressor. Okay. We're training our brain. You understand? So I just want you to see what we've done and what's possible. You've got the amygdala. That's the key structure in your brain. And that is your emotional response to stimuli. So it helps us assess like potential threats. Okay. The bear's chasing us. Ah. And so it's like oh my gosh. Okay. I accidentally answered a phone call, so we're gonna have to fix the sound here. Thanks for your patience, guys. Okay. So I think we're back on sound. So it's our emotional response to stimuli. So you assess these threats, you can react quickly. Like if you see a snake, you're going to have the fight or flight. I'm going to have the fight or flight. But this happens to non-life threatening stimuli too. So this is where we get like PTSD. If we get triggered, something reminds us of a negative past experience, your brain's going to react in a similar way. So now we've got the fear, we've got the anxiety, maybe even anger. And so that's why we love that our brain is incredibly adaptable. Neuroplasticity. So the more we experience certain stimuli or we think certain thoughts, the more our neural pathways strengthen. This can be good or bad, but this is how habits and beliefs and mindsets form. So if you constantly have negative thoughts about yourself, guess what? Your brain is going to build neural pathways that reinforce the negativity. That's the rut. That's the hamster wheel you get stuck on. So it makes it easier to fall back into that mindset. You're always like, why aren't things changing? You can make a decision to change, but then you have to work with your brain like you work your muscles in the gym. That means you can rewire your brain because you're going to consciously choose to focus on positive or empowering stimuli. And that reshapes your mindset over time. And we have cognitive bias. Our brain tends to interpret stimuli in ways that reinforce our existing belief. That means if you think that your life is shit, your shit, everything bad happens for you, you program your brain like that, you will always find that. Your brain will look for the proof and the truth that that is what's happening. So if you're in a negative emotional state, you're going to interpret neutral or even ambiguous stimuli in a more negative light, like thinking that someone's tone of voice is rude when it's not. And that's why our mindset plays such a role in how we perceive and respond to the world. It is so important that you guys bring this into your awareness about how your brain is reacting to stimuli, because that's how we can feel empowered to intervene and intentionally create new thought patterns. If you're aware of how stimuli can affect you, you can redirect your focus. You could challenge those limiting beliefs and you could choose the productive responses that shape the healthier mindset. Um, and that's, I want to talk about this device. It's a sticker, okay? It's got a pattern on it and it changes how your brain responds to stuff. It's a sticker that you put on your body and it talks to your brain. And if you've been listening to me, you can't think this is fucking impossible because our brain is constantly responding to stimuli. And that's even on your skin, touch. And it's a medical device. And it changes how your brain responds to pain, energy, mood, strength, balance because of these specific patterns. It is stimulating your brain in a way that promotes neuroplasticity. So it's like fixing the broken connections. If you've been suffering from pain for your entire life, this is a fucking answer for you. And you know how I know? Because I live with a man who has chronic pain. And it has been a nightmare. It has been like the dark cloud over our lives. It's just this pain, this pain, this pain. It literally defined him. And we tried everything, you know, and who wants to live their life drugged up on pain pills? And at some point that doesn't work because it's not repairing the issue. Um, and that's it. The first day he wore this, he had a 50% difference in his pain. Second day, 70%. He has a friend that he works with that was on tons of painkillers for his own chronic pain. He's down to one pain pill in the morning, and he was taking them 3 times a day, and the amount he was taking would horrify you. And so it has changed their lives. But this sticker is activating neuroplasticity. It sends precise sensory input that will enhance the communication in the pathways. So it stimulates your brain to repair that connection so it can adapt to the changes in how you're experiencing the pain. And I have these for mood, I have these for energy. And the patterns interact with the natural frequency. Okay. So it's guiding your brain waves to an optimal state, changes your pain perception. It's incredible. And so they directly influence the areas of your brain associated with pain regulation or emotional processing. And so when you stimulate these regions, then all of a sudden you're reducing your discomfort. You will find yourself in a more positive mental state. You get to retrain your brain because its response to the pattern will alter how you are experiencing life in this moment. And it is science. It is science and it's an incredible tool. And that's, you know, I wanted to lay the, I literally want to lay the groundwork so that we can have this conversation tomorrow because these badass women know a hell of a lot more than I do. But I am a brain nerd and the science made sense to me. The science made sense to me. And this is something I tried, peace and joy in these little patches. And it was like microdosing psilocybin without the psilocybin. These are ingredient free. We just have all kinds of things going on in the background in my life right now, and that's okay. But I mean, imagine what happens to your brain. Like you've got these neurotransmitters, your serotonin, your dopamine, norepinephrine. So these help control your emotions, your energy levels, how you perceive the world. And if you can get a balanced release of these chemicals, you're kind of set, right? An imbalance, that's where we have the anxiety, that's where we have the depression. Peace and joy, boom. The chemicals are balanced. And it is the feeling I get when I microdose psilocybin. There is just that peace, that knowing, that connection, because my body's working right. And so, you know, even beyond pain, there's literally a patch for everything. We have even your brain's motor cortex. this, we have a patch that I watched some videos on this and I'll have them talk about this tomorrow too, but like even muscle movement and controlling your strength. It is insane what these patches have done. So, um, I'm not going to keep nerding out on you guys about this because I just wanted to set a foundation, but that's it. Your brain is at the center of regulating how you experience mood, how you experience pain, how you experience energy, your strength, even skin health. Your brain is a part of that. And it does all of this through a balance of those neurotransmitters, your hormones, your neural pathways, and it influences your mental and physical well being. So if we can focus on maintaining a healthy brain, everybody's worried about everything that doesn't even matter. Let's get to the core issue. Okay. It's all going to be drawn back to your brain. All of it. Bring me something. I'll show you how it goes back to your brain. Okay. Um, let's start there. Tune in tomorrow so we can nerd out and talk about some ingredient free medical tech device that can ultimately change your life. Let's give our brain the attention it deserves. Let's stop with all the outside bullshit and really focus on the core essence of what makes our bodies work. Okay? And that's a wrap for today's episode. I'm excited about tomorrow. Please tune in. If you're fired up and ready to take your life to the next level, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode and invite a friend to tune in tomorrow to hear from actual professionals in this, industry. Take a quick moment to leave a review. Let me know how this episode hit you. Your feedback helps me reach more badass people like you. So let's keep the movement growing. Remember, you were created for greatness. Keep stepping into your power, and I'll catch you on the next one. Until then, go be a badass because the world needs a full version of you.